By the end of this video, you're going to be able to perform a full pistol squat, no problem, with some time and practice. So let's just get into it. My first introduction to calisthenics was watching Al Kavadlo do pistol squats on YouTube. I wanted to be able to do it so badly, and yet I had no idea where to get started. For one, my mobility was absolute shit. For two, I had very poor balance. For three, I had no way to control my body while moving through space. So this video is going to show you how to fix each of those things. Pistol squat, in my opinion, is probably one of the hardest variations of a single leg squat in the calisthenics world. Center of gravity is in a very difficult position because your leg is extended in front of your body, which makes it that much harder for you to sit back and counterbalance yourself. Also, it's more targeting the glute and requires a ton of hip flexor, mobility, and control, and also requires a ton of glute strength. If I had my druthers, I don't know why I said druthers, but if I had my druthers, I would rather do something like a shrimp squat. A shrimp squat allows you to have your center of gravity more based over that front leg. Pistol squat, your center of gravity is kind of out and you're not having an easy time to balance. A shrimp squat, your center of gravity is over here. Now to mimic this, you could do a reverse lunge and you'll see it's a lot easier than stepping forward, not really touching the ground, right? So a shrimp squat takes you through that full range of motion. Now the only problem is, for some people, you don't have the ankle flexibility to do that. Maybe I'll do an entire video on the shrimp squat. Just comment below, let me know if that's something that you want. Oh, and please make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so I can keep bringing you awesome stuff like this. Give a thumbs up, turn notifications on so you know when my latest video is coming out, and I really, really appreciate it. So let's dive in to the pistol squat. One of the most difficult parts of the pistol squat is being able to come to the bottom with enough balance to stand back up. One of my all-time favorite drills is a roll into a squat. If you've never done this before, it's gonna be kind of challenging, so I'm gonna break it down for you. First, we're gonna practice being able to roll. To roll, we wanna hollow out as we come back. Instead of just throwing my body back and kind of just being dead, what I wanna do is take the time to hollow out. So I'm in this hollow position. I'm pulling my ribs down. Next, I'm gonna let my body come back, and then I'm gonna bring myself up. That's it, so roll back. There shouldn't be any thud or anything. Bring my body up. Once you're comfortable with that, you're gonna take your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. With your feet wider than hip distance apart, you're then gonna reach your arms forward and come up, and probably fall back down. Reach your arms forward to come up, and come back down. Forward, come up, and back down. Forward, up, and down. Now, if you can't even get into that position, that tells you that you need to spend more time working on your ankle mobility. And a cool way to work on your ankle mobility is simple things. You can add in some simple stretches, like this commando stretch where you just come forward, pushing forward for a couple seconds, and come back. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna push forward, and you're gonna drive your foot into the ground at the same time. And then you're gonna relax and let yourself come a little further forward by squeezing an imaginary ball behind your knee. Squeeze that ball and come forward. One more time, so shift your weight forward. Hold for like, I'll say 10 to 15 seconds. You don't need to make it very long. Then you're gonna drive your foot down into the ground as if you're trying to push that pedal through the ground. And now, to get a little bit deeper, I want you to imagine squeezing that imaginary ball. So you gotta squeeze that hamstring and that calf, squeeze them together, let your body come forward. Now we're a little bit deeper. Now I'm very flexible through the ankle. I don't expect you to be here, but perform this on each side. And then once you get it on each side, you're gonna go back into those rolls so we can use that range of motion. You're gonna roll back, roll forward, roll back. You reach the arms forward, back, forward. Now, here's the next step. Because our legs are going to be together, this is how close they need to be for that pistol squat. If we have a wide base, it's gonna be really hard for you to even balance or try to get that balance. So you're gonna bring your legs together, And what we're gonna do, we're gonna roll back, come up with our legs together. So one more time, roll back, reach the arms forward, come up. Roll back, come up. Just hold it for a few seconds. Come up. And on this last one, come up, you can stand all the way up. So that's progression number 1, is your legs wide apart. Progression number 2 is bring the legs together. Progression number 3 is come into a pistol. So what that means is one leg will extend and then come down. So if I do this, I'm going to roll back, one leg forward, reach, come back down. Forward, reach, come back down. Now the key to this is pausing for that second. Last time. If you notice, it requires that ankle flexibility. But the other thing that we're overlooking a lot of the time is being able to have that leg locked out and fully extended. So that's what we're going to look at right now. If you're attempting to perform a pistol squat and your leg is bent up here, you're going to have a very hard time getting in through that leg as much as you can. That extension is what helps keep us in the bottom of that pistol squat. So you can even be here and practice just extending. So what we're going to do is, this is drill number 1. You're going to have that leg extended in front. Feet can be flexed. Keep a tall spine. Have that foot a little further away. Squeeze yourself up. So now I'm here. What we're going to do is I want you to point your toes and get this leg as straight as possible. So point your toes. You'll notice I'm kind of hypermobile, so actually the front of my leg lifts up a little bit. But point and extend as much as you can. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and relax. You might find that you cramp a little bit doing that. I'm going to do this on the other side so you can see, because this side definitely always cramps on me. You always have one side that's weaker. So we're going to come back and we're going to point and flex for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, cramp. Now, when you point, you want to think about extending all your energy forward through that foot. You don't want to sickle, as my wife would say. She's a dancer, but you do want to point and extend. Bring that leg a little closer now and try it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's giving you a lot of tension here. On this next one, progression number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to point and extend. And now we're going to lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down. We'll switch sides here. Keep that leg active, point and extend. Lift that leg up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower. Now, if you can't lift that leg whatsoever, this next drill is going to be a game changer for you. So if you're having a hard time lifting your leg up, which is an important part, you don't need to be all the way up here for that pistol squat, but you do need to have enough hip flexor strength to lift yourself up. So what we're going to do is, this is like a dynamic contraction, and then we're going to lift off, basically. But we're going to have, you can use a bench, you can use a step, you can use whatever you want. Now, what we're going to do, contrary to popular belief, when you're stretching your hamstring, you don't want to be so locked out, just because we can have a little bit of sciatic nerve that we upset a little bit. So if I want to actually target my hamstring, which we're going to be, and the hip flexor, I want a slight bend in my knee, just to be safe. Yeah, and it's kind of like the same idea of what we did with our ankle. You're going to drive your heel down into that surface so you feel that tension. And by driving that heel down, you're going to feel your hamstring just like click on. You're going to let your belly button come forward a little bit, and we're just going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I want you to squeeze your butt as much as you can and try to lift up. Like you're not actually going to be able to lift, but squeeze that butt, let your belly button tilt forward. You're going to feel a huge contraction there, and you're going to feel that hip flexor shorten a little bit. You notice I'm a little bit further forward. This is a big stretch. And last one, we're going to drive that foot in for 5, 4, like you're trying to push that foot through the mat. 3, 2, 1, and pull yourself deeper into that position. Deeper. 3, 2, 1. Now from this position, you're gonna put your hands on whatever that surface is if you can. And we're gonna do one last one. And this time you're gonna try to get your belly button to come forward and you're gonna try to bring your nose towards your foot. Okay, so again, we have that bend in our knee. You could have a big bend if you want. It's still gonna be a hamstring stretch. So drive that heel down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull yourself closer. Try to get that nose to come forward. So you're creating length. Push your butt back. Squeeze those glutes. Squeeze the glutes to pull yourself deeper. And hold. That's a big stretch. You might cramp. Hold it. Hold it. And now we're going to come out of it slowly. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to lift our leg up. So drive that heel down and lift up for 3, 2, 1. Bring your leg back down. We're going to do it again. This time we're going to point our toes. So drive the heel down for 3, 2, 1. Point the toes and lift. 3, 2, 1. So that is drill number 2. Taking through all the phases. We have one last drill. The final progression that I'm gonna go over in this video, it's gonna build on itself. So what you want is a box that's about, you could have it be mid shin or all the way up. The higher the surface, the easier it is. What we're working on is we're gonna be doing slow controlled negatives and just tapping our butt, bringing both legs down. So we're gonna extend one leg in front, reach the arm forward, focus on lowering, and tapping. You'll bring the leg down, come up. As you get better with this, you'll be able to lower the surface, which I'll show you. Tap, come up. Now you'll be able to lower the surface. Technically this should work. Thanks a lot to my son's mats here. Reach back, tap, bring the leg in, come up. One more time. My heel is lifted a little bit here just due to the mat. Makes it very unstable. And come up. Now you would work eventually until you don't need a mat or anything like that. But what if you can't control it at the bottom? Like how do you get yourself back up? Great question. Glad you asked. Self. So all you do is we're gonna lower down with as much control as possible. Get down, and then roll. Pop back up, roll. Both legs, stand up. So one more time, you're gonna lower with as much control as possible. We'll switch sides. Lower down. Slow and controlled. Let yourself roll back. Pop up, roll back. Both legs, stand up. Practicing that drill will help you get enough control eventually so when you're bottom, you can stand back up. These 3 progressions are one of my favorite ways to tackle this movement. And it doesn't require you to use any weight. It doesn't require you to have a lot of studio space or even to have anything to hold on to. So it's a nice way you can go about this and actually tackle the areas versus just trying to jam yourself into the pistol squat, which ends up triggering a downward cascade where the movement kind of just always feels out of reach. I think I'm gonna do another video on the shrimp squat. Again, do me a favor, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, you have notifications turned on, you give a thumbs up, you comment below, let me know if that's something you would like to see, and I'll bring you another video just like this one. And without further ado, remember you're just one day from getting back on track and one day from realizing how fucking amazing you are.